shown to be very fragile, particularly the last 3 games. Hutto, they've lost the last 10 consecutive quarters they've played in.
Yeah, it's hard to comprehend. So we're going to see further tributes here with an 8 and 24-second violation, which you've seen in the NBA as well. The tributes are so heartfelt. It's just had an incredible impact. We'll talk more about your experiences with Kobe at half-time, but it's been felt right around the world, hasn't it?
Oh, it certainly has, and he was the type of player that, as was mentioned, transcended the sport. Whether you're a basketball fan or not, you knew who Kobe Bryant was and had nothing but the greatest of respect for the way in which he played the game, and the athleticism, the talent, extraordinary. And there's Wayne Peterson, the court announcer, been in the Cape for 30 years, and he's showing the respect to Kobe by donning the Lakers jersey.
Yeah, I mean, and the tragic passing of his daughter and the others that also passed in the accident has just made it even more tragic. And what Kobe and his daughter may have achieved in the future makes it even harder to comprehend, doesn't it, Corey?
Extremely difficult. It's just sad and tragic how their lives were taken, as well as everybody else's lives on the chopper.
It is.
Our thoughts and condolences with the family. God give their family the strength to endure that they're going to need to get through this. I can't imagine what the families are going through. Vanessa Bryant with three other daughters.
All right, so the action for real begins now. Here's a critical match, as we said, for Melbourne United. Win to the Perth Wildcats will officially qualify them for the finals for the 34th consecutive season. Melbourne looking to lift themselves to get to 12 and 12. Norton, and this man, oh, he's didn't quite have his timing right there, Plumlee. What a difference he's made in a short period of time. We'll spend plenty of time talking about him tonight, and he turns on a 23-point game as we saw last weekend against New Zealand.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just picked up a quick foul. The intent was good. Tried to set a screen. It's a moving screen. And as you saw, although he missed that dunk, took off from a long way out, but just the athleticism that he brings to the competition. And he, so far, has really changed the dynamic of this Perth team, particularly on the defensive end. I know he had the points last weekend, but the rebounding, the work on the D has been great.
And 18 boards as well, and he's doing it at both ends. The answer is no. Big Miles Plumlee.
Shawn Long wants the goaltend, but that looked clean. And that's what we're talking about when we say brings a new dimension to the Perth Wildcats.
It even gets Corey a little bit excited about the Wildcats.
Listen, that's the team I feel. That's the team to beat. Because of the tremendous upgrade they have at that center position. That's all they've been missing.
That'll make Mitch McCarron feel a lot better. He has been really struggling the last couple of games in particular. Melbourne on the board. Plumlee again, a significant figure so far. Nice soft touch on the hook.
This man is coming to work. He's not coming here for a vacation. You see in the first 3 plays.
Not like him. 2
plays on the offensive end, he's attacking. And on defense, you saw what he just did.
When does your vacation end, Corey?
Man, I just try to create a life that seems like a vacation.
No, we're all living a dream. There's no doubt about that. But it's the thing about it too, with Plumlee going to work again, and they're going to him a lot down low, is that he does it without necessarily interfering with the other players. He doesn't take away from Bryce Cotton and gets his work around does his work around the basket. So he hasn't come in and really taken away from anyone. I know Terrico White had a poor game the other night by his standards, but
sounds like he's struggling a bit physically because he's out tonight with a bit of all-round general soreness.
General soreness, Hutto.
Yeah, he does pop up at this time of the year, the old Army General, doesn't he? So it's 2-2. It's tight, as you can see at the start of this one. Open air game, Melbourne Arena. Huge couple of weeks in this city with the Australian Open going on. Plumlee doesn't quite get it right that time.
But Plumlee also just picked up his second foul.
Yeah. You know, the biggest difference we've seen in the first couple of plays, the strategy...
And the foul is on 18.
Oh, hang on, he might get...
Count, basket interference.
They've counted the basket as well as the foul, so he's going to go to the line to shoot the bonus. I guess the grabbing of the ring and pulled the rim down. So not sure it was intentional.
It's unlucky.
And
I agree with you, but it's unlucky against the rule. Hey, wait.
the biggest thing we see with Melbourne United against Sydney, as they tried to come up with a new formula, it was like a 8 seconds offense. They were coming down and just straight away blazing away. Tonight, in the first 3 or 4 possessions, you can see much more methodical about the way they're going about it, going through their sets and perhaps trying to take the pace out of the ball a little bit, because their defense hasn't been holding up in recent times.
Well, positive start too on the board, 5-2, and the big guy from Perth already having a rest, sitting down with 2 early fouls. Steindl starting on court tonight, fires that up. Doesn't have a great record against United, Andrew, does he? So it's Steindl, which we'll tell you more about as this game progresses. Long, the mid-range. Fighting hard for the extra possession, as Mitch McCarron always does, comes up without it.
We talk about Steindl, and he doesn't have a record. Steindl's played 14 games in his Wildcats career against Melbourne United. Never scored more than 5 points in any game, Hutto. That's for a man who put up some big numbers in some of the games. That's quite extraordinary.
Well, he's trying hard here, and he's already had 2 that haven't quite cut the mustard. So Trimble. Long's able to get there and try and clean up, but Trimble not quite having the touch he'd like early tonight. What do you make of what we've seen so far, Corey?
So far, Shawn Long like his aggression. He knows what's on the line. He does not want to be in this league 2 consecutive seasons and not make finals.
Yes. He's a quality player. Haven't really felt like he's found his position within the group, and he's had some outstanding individual games, and the numbers are quite impressive, but overall just hasn't felt like he's really fitted in as smoothly.
So Bryce Cotton brings it down the floor for Perth, who find themselves with just 2 points on the board. It's only early stages. Cotton wants to change that. Can't. Majuk getting some earlier minutes than he would have expected with the early fouls on Plumlee. Fair to say, Perth are just struggling a little bit offensively. Right?
Well, 1 of 7 from the field, only shooting at 14%. So they just haven't been able to get it going offensively.
On the other hand, things are heating up. And Chris Goulding's going to be pivotal to Melbourne if they're going to play in the finals. And he's off, makes his first triple of the night. And Melbourne suddenly jump out to an 8-point lead. Taking the shot.
And it's an 8-0 run, Hutto. So they've done a really good job of containing the Wildcats. And open air, a lot of conjecture about the open air and the merits of the open air game.
Well, as a shooter, Andrew, tell us what you think.
I don't like it. I'll be honest, I do not like it. And whether that's just in your head or not, great for the aesthetics and the promotion of the game, but no problem for Bryce Cotton coming off that. But any hint of wind, and even if it's real or not, just psychologically how that plays with your head. And the statistics indicate that open air games haven't always been classic shooting contests.
Melbourne not complaining at the moment. They lead 10-4. And it'll be a great spectacle. There'll be some fantastic shots across this great sporting precinct as the night progresses.
And that's a good offensive set for Melbourne United. Get the ball through hands. Chris Goulding, the play before, hit a 3-ball.
Yep. 2
plays before that. Go back to him. You need him involved offensively.
And I reckon the issue this year as well has been finding that balance between Goulding and Trimble. I think when Trimble starts to become more of a distributor, it takes away from his natural game as well. And I think Trimble needs to really maintain that focus of what he does best, and that's get downhill, get it on the rim. We saw against Sydney, he put up some big numbers in a hefty loss, but nevertheless, his form had been poor, and the fact that he gets 20 plus against the Sydney Kings should generate a bit of confidence for him.
You see Taylor Brett is out there early. Mitch Norton already with 2 fouls, and of course no Damien Martin. So he's played just 10 NBL games.
Yeah, and without Terrico, this is where Trevor Gleeson has to go a little bit deeper into his roster.
This is a good thing because other guys get opportunities to step up and show that they belong in the rotation and they can deliver when other guys are not available.
New Zealand to Taylor Brett. Steindl, as we said, starting. Fumble from Cotton doesn't cost him. Kay from the corner. Just gives them a second chance. How many points will Bryce Cotton feel he has to shoot tonight? Kay tries his hand again, and that's a surer hand this time.
Beautiful stroke. Whenever you've got a four-man that can step out, really does spread the floor, open up those driving lanes, and more importantly, has 3 points ticking over for the Perth Wildcats.
Had 20 and 11 rebounds against the Breakers last week. So he's in good form. Shawn Long takes it to the hoop, but doesn't finish it.
Something right there. You got to finish that, big fella.
Bryce Cotton will get the friendly roll. Goulding on the move.
Beautiful pass. Beautiful pass. From damn near half court.
He had to split the gap, and as you mentioned, Hutto, Mitch McCarron hasn't been in fine form. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities on the offensive end, but sees a couple go through early, as does Kay.
15-9. McCarron didn't score against the Breakers and just 5 against the Kings in his last 2 games.
I've got Vaughan, who's got the angle. I've got you, and then I've got the drop there.
Trevor's a bit grumpy early.
Well, it is, and right now it's 5 fouls to 0. So, although they look pretty valid, whenever you look up on the board as a coach, you see, well, we've got 5 and they've got none. You generally engage in conversation just to remind the officials that there seems to be an imbalance.
I mean, to be honest with you, there actually isn't. One team is more aggressive, penetrating to the basket, and Perth Wildcats shoot jump shots all quarter.
And it's a stupid way to look at it because you might have fouled 5 times, the other team hasn't.
You can, as a coach, you can lose that perspective, Andrew, though, can't you?
100%. You're not you can, you will. You will.
Spoken like a man who's been there and done that. 17-9. They've jumped out well here, Melbourne. There's a real challenge for Perth all of a sudden. Down a little on personnel, as we said. Taylor Brett. Shayley out there for United. Not giving him an inch.
Good on-ball pressure. Put the Wildcats out of their offensive set, and you get a bad shot.
Shea had a good trip there. 8-point margin. Surprisingly at the moment. Just the 2 points. 1 of 5 from the field. In a rush they come, and they can't deliver.
Well, not a lot of these players for Melbourne United would have played an outdoor game, but they certainly played one earlier in the season, so they're probably a little bit more acclimatised.
We should say it's a beautiful night, and it's not a windy night at all.
That's great defense. This is what Coach Vickerman wants from his team. They're doing basically what the Wildcats do to other teams. Up in the lane, denying, not making passes easy, putting pressure on the ball.
Stanton Kidd wearing number 53 tonight.
I'm not sure why, but maybe 5 and 3 equals 8.
Hey, that's it.
I'm serious.
That's what it is.
A tribute, but
that's the only thing it could be.
The other thing is too is that
2 shots.
The Perth Wildcats have 3 players already on 2 fouls, and this is going to be the 9th and 10th free throw to Melbourne United.
This is a big 3 minutes here.
Absolutely, and Perth have yet to get to the free throw line. But as you mentioned, Corey, like that's aggressive, attacking on the rim. It's not an indication of the officiating. It's just the reality of the way the game is unfolding.
Stanton Kidd had 15 points and 7 boards against the Kings last start. Wagstaff, can he step up and have one of those nights where he gets hot from outside?
I mean, when you really think about it, if you look on the court for the Wildcats, there's nobody that can beat anybody off of the dribble except Bryce Cotton. Everybody else shooting jump shots, and Bryce hasn't even gone to the basket yet. That's why there's no fouls for Melbourne United.
The patient set for Melbourne. Long and Kay.
Hook. Offensive down low. Called Shawn Long for the hook.
There's the first foul.
And that looked like one that you say, well, referees are human as well. They see that 6-0 and might have been there, but certainly looked a little soft. But Indigenous round. And how about these Indigenous uniforms, Hutto?
Yeah, well, they were produced by First Ever. They're available at the NBL store, of course, as we said, celebrating the Indigenous culture through the inaugural Indigenous round. All 9 NBL clubs wearing their specially designed Indigenous jerseys, recognise and acknowledge Indigenous culture across Australia and New Zealand. But a portion of the proceeds, importantly, will go towards the development of young Indigenous players, ensuring a pathway is available for them to pursue their basketball dreams.
Brilliant stuff by the NBL. We saw it last year with the Illawarra Hawks. They had their own team Indigenous round, and now it's expanded out to the entire competition. We've seen it in other sports. You'd be familiar with it, Hutto, with your work in the AFL, and I think it's an outstanding initiative by the NBL.
Yeah, and they're great designs too, and they all have stories. As the broadcast progresses, we'll tell you a little about the ones we're seeing tonight.
It's been a little different too for the Perth Wildcats. In their last game against the New Zealand Breakers, they only had 6 players in double-figure minutes played. They had 5 players that played more than 29 minutes. So the bulk of the game was done with a really shorter rotation, and Trevor forced to go much deeper without Terrico, and of course with the foul trouble.
First time Bryce Cotton breaks the defense down, gets to the basket, they get a foul, and he scores the bucket. Now he goes to the line for 3 the hard way.
It's back to 7 points, Jen. How is Dean Vickerman?
Pretty good, gents. I mean, the energy is pretty hot down here. You can see there's a sense of urgency from his players right now. Whether it's the backs on the line, they know their finals hopes are in the brink with this win, but right now he's happy with their defense apart from that last possession, and he wants to punish them for their fouls right now. So penetration, backdoors, and push their shooters off the three-point line.
Ellie takes a big deep shot and makes it, most importantly. And it's 10 points now with 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter.
Shea Ely given an invitation to shoot that ball. Probably not what Vickerman was looking for, trying to take advantage of the already being in the bonus, but he knocks it down.
Wagstaff can get hot, but his first 2 from outside of Dawn Blank. Kidd. Whoa. All of a sudden, it's blown out to 13. Stanton Kidd, who made his NBL debut on Boxing Day and opened their game.
3 of 4 from the three-point line for Melbourne. 1 of 8 for the Perth Wildcats. Make that 1 of 9.
And that's great defense by Stanton Kidd his last 2 possessions. 2 great closeouts from the three-point line. Melbourne United's energy this quarter has started from the defensive end. And that's why it's no coincidence what the score is.
No, you're spot on, Corey. And the work you have to do against the Perth Wildcats is enormous. They run their flex options, and when they get a couple of cuts going and you're chasing Bryce Cotton or some of those receivers, there's a lot of screens you've got to get through. And so far, Melbourne United have been great. Even there, Shea Ely fighting over the top.
Okay, hard working, almost got there, but again, that Melbourne defense shining. And Kidd slams it down. And that's something to get the Melbourne fans excited about. And there hasn't been too much of late.
That's right. Hutto, in their past 5 games, they've only averaged 80 points a game. And already they got 26 on the board. There's another nice move to the basket by Cotton.
He's not going to let it happen easily, we know that much. 6 points. 16 the other night in the first quarter against New Zealand. Goulding. $15 seconds remaining. In this first quarter, Melbourne have doubled Perth right now. Cotton draws a foul. It's just the third given by Melbourne.
And they had a foul to give, so that was just to stop the possession, try not to get them to score. Now they've got another one to give as well. And no one's on more than one foul, so right now you'd expect Barlow or anyone that doesn't have a foul to commit another one.
Shot's a little strong. And it's quarter time at Melbourne Arena, the open air game. And Melbourne United, what a start. Well, it's Melbourne United that desperately needs to win this match, and they couldn't have hoped for a better start. Open-air basketball, a massive fortnight of sport in Melbourne. And the United fans have got something to cheer about against their old rivals, the Perth Wildcats. It's 26-13. It's going to be a huge night if they can continue like this. But, of course, there's that man, Bryce Cotton. But he needs some help, doesn't he, for Perth?
He certainly does, and let's not forget against the Sydney Kings, they had a 25-point first quarter a few days ago, and it's their ability to sustain it. Like, they're only averaging 80 points across the last 5 games. They average almost 94 on the season, so really struggling over the last couple of months.
Well, it's their lowest scoring Perth Wildcats first quarter. And it's the first time at quarter time they've been in double figures deficit as they trail by 13 points. Long way to go, though.
It is a long way, but you've got to be impressed with the defensive effort by Melbourne United. They've shown real fight getting through those screens, as you mentioned, Corey. Getting the lanes, trying to be as disruptive as possible.
And this is the effort Dean Vickerman wants to see every game for 40 minutes. Great offense, pass the ball around, let everybody get a touch. The ball will find the scorer. They're that talented. They don't have to be selfish, which they usually aren't. So just tighten up on defense and move the ball on offense.
Wow, LaCule getting involved with his first points of the night. Answered quickly.
Wakala Bullock, he's new to the game, and or not new to the game, he's been there for a couple of years, but new to getting some opportunities and early opportunities for him as well.
Played 7 minutes in Sydney in round 13. Scored his first field goal as a fully contracted NBL player. And round 16, a new career high of 4 points against Phoenix.
He's represented Australia at the junior level as well. And as we mentioned, been with the program now a couple of seasons with the Wildcats.
But they are being tested for depth here tonight, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. And particularly that foul trouble. It's really forced Trevor Gleeson's hand and had to go to the bench, and he brings Plumlee back in. And it's getting that stage of the game, regardless of the foul situation, this is getting away from him. They've got to keep this within range and within one where it doesn't affect your psyche more than anything.
After 15 points right now, Wildcats, of course, sit in second place. Sydney 18-7, and the Wildcats 16-8.
Get that out of here. Don't come in his pain with that nonsense.
Yes, it was a crowded Kiwi. You could just see a Chul just protecting the basket and made for a tough going for Norton.
Yeah, Joe. Don't worry about Plumlee. He's got nothing.
Well, some of the fans.
You got him.
A few extra special comments.
Just providing an opinion on Plumlee. I suggested 23-18 in a game where you win by a point. Suggests you got a little something.
Cotton. It's it up and over, and banks one.
Guarantee that was not the target he was trying to hit. That's just a lucky shot off the backboard that gets the reward.
I'll tell you, it was all part of the plan. There's Joe working his way through. And doesn't get the roll. Instead, the leap of Cotton produces a board, and suddenly Can he light up the offense as well? It's foul on the way.
Bryce Cotton now is on attack mode. Now he slides back to his original position, the 2.
Well, that's right. He's already 4 of 9 from the field, so he's been the main guy on the offensive end. He's got the 8 points. Certainly been impressive in the last 5 games, averaging 26 points a game.
22 points or more in each of those 6 games. Right. Hit the winning basket last time in Melbourne against United.
Bryce Cotton on a nightly basis is impressive.
Oh, he's incredible.
So to hit 26 points per game over the last 5 games is nothing new.
82% from the free throw line. Missed his first 2 free throws. Maybe the wind on the free throw. Hutto.
Goulding playing the waiting game, but that wasn't in the plans. Michael Bullock doing well, putting the pressure on. Force the error from Goulding. So Perth just redoubling their efforts here at the start of the second term. As we have a timeout.
It is, and we talk about Melbourne United and their nice little lead, but you just start to feel that Perth Wildcats starting to figure out their formula. A few harder screens, freeing up their guys, opening some lanes. Cotton gets there, but it's just as important in this phase they're going through for Melbourne United as well.
And we mentioned it is Indigenous round, and Jen's got Mandy Nicholson with her, and she can tell us a bit of a story behind the Melbourne jersey we're seeing tonight.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Mandy Nicholson, the artist behind the Melbourne United jersey. Can you tell us about the journey and how it came to fruition?
Well, basically, we did a dance at the beginning of the game, and it represents the 6 layers of country. So we've got the bikut, the below country, for the ochre that we've got on, and then the on country where we dance, then water, sky, wind, and then where Bunjil lives.
Now, I'm going to assume you're a basketball fan, and we're going for the home team tonight?
Yes, definitely.
Well, it was such a great insight to your culture and to spread the news about the Indigenous awareness, so thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Jan, and a great job from Mandy. Don't forget, if you want to grab yourself one of the singlets from First Ever, they're available via the NBL store. Melbourne lead by 12, but Perth have just upped the ante here. Had a few adjustments in the quarter-time break. Mitch Norton. He was watching him closely, but good ball movement. They get it inside again. Plumlee gets fouled.
Beautiful set coming out of the timeout to get a good look around the basket. Little floppy action with the screens down low. Curled it, and the help comes. Great recognition and pass to get it to Plumlee. Now, this is an area.
No, this is an area injury. I know what you're going to say, but you say it.
This is an area where he struggles a little bit, but he's been quite good since arriving in Australia. But fair to say that if you look at the entire Plumlee family, they did not pay attention to working on their free throws because...
I wonder why. They shot 1 from 8 free throws. Do you think that the key didn't extend that far in their backyard? Or
well, I'm not sure, but it's just... usually the bigger guys, not usually, but sometimes the bigger guys have some issues from the free throw line, and knocks 2 down there and says, I think I've found the formula. Correct.
So United quite turn out the way David Barlow will have imagined there. Bryce Cotton sitting down at the moment for Perth. And they're down by 10. Steindl, extra pass, Plumlee.
Yeah, a little travelling at the feet, shuffled the feet before he caught it. Here it is. 1, 2. Oh, that's a big travel.
Yeah, big travel.
4 or 5 steps to that one.
He has started in 168 NBA games, Miles Plumlee. And what doesn't go down for Chris Goulding.
Well, that's a defensive breakdown. Chris Goulding left
wide open.
Doesn't cost them though. Steindl. Things not going his way. As we mentioned, he only averages just over 2 points a game against Melbourne United. Shawn Long. It's not happening for either side right now. Perth fighting amongst themselves there for a moment. Perth from outside tonight. 1 from 10. They have not taken a three-point shot in the second quarter yet, so a clear change in plan for Perth. Trying to get back into this game.
Melbourne have only made 1 basket this quarter, and fortunately for them, Perth been to the free throw line, but they've only made 2.
That's 3 fouls for David Barlow.
Thanks, buddy.
And look at the difference in quarters. Melbourne United now are in a penalty. Perth Wildcats have 1 personal team foul.
Almost the opposite.
It is complete the opposite. Perth Wildcats putting their head down. We are 1 for 10 from 3. We're not shooting threes no more. We are attacking the basket. And as a result of attacking the baskets, they're on the bonus for the next 5.5 minutes in this quarter.
No, you're right. They've only had the 5 free throws, but they're 3 of 5. Make that 3 to 6.
Shutting out, chance for Hungry Jack's Burgers there. And he's enjoying himself, averaging 11 points over 5 games without Damian Martin in the much bigger role. The average is just under 6, and Damian Martin is out there. Trimble. Goes on a bit of an adventure, needs some help. There's only 2 seconds on the clock. Goulding! Didn't get close.
Good defense by the Wildcats.
It is, and both teams, I think, have shown that intensity on the defensive end, and as such, the percentages have dropped right off Perth. Only shooting at 29%. Melbourne United, after a very impressive first quarter, down to 38% from the three-point line.
And Cotton gets a little closer.
The mid-range master.
Oh, well, I think
mid-range, 3-ball, however you want, he's going to heat up right now. The 3-ball's not hitting.
Well, I think Dean Vickerman's seen enough. He's called it to a halt. And we might jump in and have a listen. Melbourne's lead at the moment is back to 7 points. It's completely dried up for them.
Press to go in transition. You're messing up every time, all right? So we're not running zone plays right now. Come down. Fellas, we got to attack pressure. So once we flip it over, can we hit middle? Once you flip it back, can you hit middle or can you hit sideline? Those passes, and then you attack, turn and attack. Have you got post up early? There's some early post ups, Wani Swacker versus 4-man early in that action as well. Take advantage of it. Once we settle and bring it back out, back into 2 circle, all right now. And then get back to the on ball into circle and attack it. 1, 2, 3, go.
a lot of attack on the rim and that Dean Vickerman's looking for. And
don't forget, if you've got something to say about that or anything to do with tonight's game or the NBL, follow the Hungry Jacks NBL on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Corey can't get enough of it to start today with all the latest.
Corey's he's a very entertaining follow, so jump on his if you just, and of course the NBL social media, so that's the first priority. But the second priority is Corey.
Follow NBL 20 today to the hashtag See Incredible, or read Incredible when it comes to Corey.
The difference between the attack on the rim, you heard in that timeout, Dean Vickerman, one pass, flip it, and he's looking for the high-low action. He's talking about posting up. Difference between that and the attack that the Perth Wildcats. Perth usually go through their process a lot more, run their flex action, and there's a good three-pointer by Goulding. But they'll loosen you up a little bit more with their flex action before they get their attack on the rim.
Melbourne have scored just 7 points in this second quarter. And they hang on to a 10-point lead. Chris Goulding plays referee as well. Take it ahead from Bryce Cotton.
Tough pass, tried to thread the needle to get it to Plumlee.
Melbourne United able to do tonight what they haven't done in the last 10 quarters. They're able to win a quarter. Trimble's got him spinning.
Beautiful spin move. Left-hand finish. Mello Trimble.
4 points for the night so far for Mello. A lot is going to go through that man, Bryce Cotton. Markelo Bullock working hard on Goulding. Gets a good shot. It was tough, contested, but he makes.
And you know what I love? They showed him no respect for the three-point line. Goulding just sagged right off and dared him to shoot it. He didn't settle, and he found a way to get a better shot and get into his comfort zone around the basket.
That's what I want to see right there. Him attack Plumlee. Plumlee has 2 fouls, and this is the first time Shawn Long has gotten the ball and attacked him. That's his third. As we see the spin move with the left hand. Finish. Tough move.
Yeah, this is going to send Plumlee
Back off
to the bench. And you're right, Shawn Long did the right thing. He saw a man that had the 2 fouls, and he's such an important part, or has become such an important part over the last couple of weeks since arriving to his Perth Wildcats lineup, that have him sitting out certainly the remainder of this quarter. It's a big bonus for Melbourne United.
It's a huge bonus. Actually, it's a bonus if they attack that 5 spot with him on the bench.
Last time these two sides met, as we mentioned, United prevailed. The Wildcats were kept to a season-low 74 points. Right now, 74 looks a lot for Perth. They're on 25 with 3 minutes to go in the first half.
Right now, the ball has to go inside to Shawn Long. He has the mismatch.
McCarron. Goulding. Long again. Long-range shots not moving for Mello. Norton.
Oh, that's just a brain fade by Shawn Long. I don't think that was going in, but the whistle's blown. On top of that, it's actually hit the board, and he's going to earn 2. That was not going to go in.
No chance that was going in. Shawn Long knows better in a situation like that. Just giving him an easy bucket.
And I think if you go back to, was it 1984 when Georgetown played North Carolina, 82. And Patrick Ewing, they sent him out just to goaltend the first 4 or 5 to make a statement and put it in the opponent's head that we've got this big protector around the rim. Made a little bit of sense, not a lot of sense, made a little bit of sense back then. That one there made no sense.
None.
Wait, I'll get a good screen.
Hello again. Down to single figures. On the shot clock, Goulding. Okay with his 4th rebound. Thought about it. Extra pass. Again, this young man, his
Beautiful.
athleticism on display.
Look, here's the thing. Last year, they signed him. He's a young buck. He was injured pretty much the first half of this season. So they have a lot. They have a lot of confidence in him.
Wow. Long, this is an easy one, but as you mentioned earlier, Corey, they were 1 of 10 in a transition layup there by Kay. They were 1 of 10 from the 3-point line in the first quarter, the Perth Wildcats.
Still up.
They have not taken a 3-pointer in this second quarter and got themselves back in the contest.
They're literally just putting their heads down and getting to the basket and scoring because of it.
And you know, it seems odd commenting on it, but sometimes you got to look at it and say, This is open air. A little bit of breeze going on. We've had a look from the three-point line.
Not
We
looking
can't
good.
throw it in the
Not
ocean.
working from there.
So no point repeating that hasn't worked. Change it up, find a formula, and Swakala Bullock has demonstrated that last couple of ones. If you don't close out, and sure you want to gap it and give him some space, but when you give him such space that he can get a running start at the defense, it's hard to guard if you're not influencing the ball early.
Valuable points, but another timeout. 6 points. As Perth have really worked themselves back into this game. Heard and seen already the Melbourne Indigenous jersey, and here is the Perth jersey we're seeing tonight, designed by Dr. Richard Wally, OAM.
Yep.
Just worked with the inaugural Wildcats captain Mike Ellis and the club's creative team to develop a cultural narrative, and that is that the Perth Wildcats Indigenous uniform tells the story of success of arguably Australia's most travelled teams. Mandela features 9 rings representing the Wildcats' record 9 championships, and the 33 yellow shapes also represent the club's unbeaten streak of post-season appearances. They might have to add another one soon. It's going to become 34. The colour scheme is a throwback to that worn by the original Wildcats. It looks great.
Well, we sort of, you reel it off and you read it out, Hutto, but it's quite extraordinary that they will qualify for the 34th consecutive playoff series. And I think you've got to scan the globe to find a team that's made playoffs 34 seasons in a row. That is just extraordinary, and everyone involved in the Perth Wildcats over a long period of time, we dip the lid and say, unbelievable level of excellence that they've been able to sustain for a long period of time.
For 34 years.
That is a
Long period of time.
Man.
And it's why you can't write them off tonight when they make a slow start like we saw, and they've worked their way almost by half-time to back within 4 points here. Smith-Milner. Can't get the roll, he gets some help. Puts it down for 2. Vital points for Melbourne, and they creep to 40 before the half. No Terrico White tonight for Perth. Of course, Damien Martin also out of their lineup for the time being. Okay, tough contested shot.
You might have seen Trevor Gleeson halfway through that play irate at Mitch Norton for not just going and attacking the rim. And Norton was waiting for the on-ball screen, and Trevor Gleeson just wanted him to go without it, just one-on-one and take on Trimble.
Shot clock's at 0 here, Andrew.
Well, it might be 0.6, I think it is. So you can, at 0.6, you can just catch it and shoot it. Obviously, extremely quickly. 0.9 they've changed it to now, so a catch and shoot opportunity.
And they'll be all putting their hand up. You wouldn't have hesitated, Andrew. There we go. So short.
Chance, Dean Vickerman.
Chance for a cheapie, but the thing about it is they hold that ball and really would have had the last shot. They had come up with a bad play, and they give that opportunity back to the Wildcats, who will certainly wait in the last 4 or 5 seconds to let this one go.
11 points for Bryce Cotton, 5 from 12 from the field. This to cut the margin from 6 to... That would have been 3 as it stands. First half, the clock expires. And while Perth have righted the ship somewhat, Melbourne still lead by 6 points at the half. Thank you, Jen. Let's see what takes place in this third quarter. Melbourne managing just 14 points in that second quarter, outscored by 7. first by 13, and thus they lead by 6 points right now.
74 points combined is the lowest combined halftime score we've had all season, and the second lowest is the Boxing Day open air game. So
you made your point, Andrew, at the stage.
It's difficult to find the rhythm.
Can you give us the technicality then of that from a shooting point of view? And you talked about it potentially even being mental, but in trying to judge if there is a little bit of wind, is it just because it's different to what you
absolutely? And the floor's not quite the same. The atmosphere clearly is different. It's not in that air-conditioned comfort. And hey, it's the same for both teams. And what a spectacular, beautiful pictures you see from it. But it does present some challenges for the players.
Bryce Cotton sharing it with Kay. And then he finds him back. And beautifully worked.
And that's just beautiful basketball to watch. The handoff wasn't there. He continued to cut to the basket, and it's a great backdoor pass and even better finish.
Well, 22 of the 36 points that Perth Wildcats have made have been points in the paint. And so they're getting to the rim and got another good opportunity that last time with Cotton. In contrast, Melbourne United only got 12 of their points have come from inside the paint.
Running a longer set this time, United. Down to 6 seconds now. Extra pass. And kill.
Great rim protection by Nick Kay.
Melbourne United's first ever open-air game was actually a win against the Wildcats back in December 2015. Bryce Cotton led all scorers with 27 points on that night.
It is, and it might sound like you're thinking I'm bashing the open air. I'm absolutely not. I think it's brought a lot of new people to the game to see the game, and been a great promotion. But I am suggesting that you can't ignore the fact that it does have a little bit of an impact on the players.
Well, there's some big matches to come, isn't there? This one tonight, so far going well for Melbourne, but other potential challenges for finals. Like these two teams, they simply can't afford to lose from here on in. They meet in what's going to be a big clash.
No, that's right. In fact, both these teams really relying on the teams ahead of them to give them some favourable results. And New Zealand,
they're in good form, aren't they?
They have. When you consider the issues they've had to face throughout the course of the season and even in the pre-season, but this one's going to be a very important one. And you look at the Breakers' run home, and there's no easy games, but it could be as good as can be expected. So if they do the right thing by themselves and other results go their way, they could be right in the mix.
I love what the New Zealand Breakers have done in the second half of the year. And if this is the nucleus that got them there to the playoffs, the finals, they could bring this whole team back.
I think they probably might want to look at a couple of minor. They certainly don't have to reinvent and go back to scratch, that's for sure.
Kicks it out. Again, the extra pass right up against the shot clock. Doesn't drop. The hands were quick.
Look at this.
Feet are two. Cotton looking for the N1, but doesn't get it, but does get them back within 2 points.
That's great hands. Muala Cool, you're right at the basket. You got an offensive rebound. You should have went right back up.
What about the will and determination of Bryce Cotton? Gets in the lane.
And he's jumped up to 15 points. Mello match him. At the moment. Triple is 6 points. One of 5 tonight from the field.
I like to see Shawn Long get the ball on the block. He hasn't, well, he's sitting down now.
But proppy too.
He hasn't gotten any touches on that block.
And as such, Melbourne, since quarter time, where they had Really good first quarter, 26 points. They're 4 of 17 since quarter time.
Trimble doesn't take the initial shot. Now a foul is drawn out against Clint Steiner.
Perth Wildcats and Melbourne United both at 36% from the three-point line on the season.
So if you were Dean Vickerman, how would you have been assessing their halftime situation, given the adjustments Perth had made, and now the early evidence of this third quarter?
I'd have been concerned if I was Dean Vickerman, despite the lead, because clearly the adjustments were made by the Perth Wildcats in that second half, and offensively they weren't able to score, Melbourne United, and it's continued in this third period. So as good as you can be on defense and holding the Wildcats to 39%, if you can't score down the other end, they're hard problems to fix at half-time.
Well, they could have taken the lead if Steiner had connected. Melbourne led by 15 as much at one stage, and maybe a few shots like that might change things. Bryce Cotton gets them out of their seat at Melbourne Arena. Difficult shot to make, to say the least. Norton takes on the world and fails.
Great D by Barlow, stayed vertical. Oh. Trimble just no court awareness.
Throws it away. Yeah, McCarron instead of possible pass to Goulding. Both sides getting the fumbles.
Every now and then we all need a little bit of luck going our way.
It is, but Trimble throwing that one away. He got into the heart of the key. Well, not the heart, very deep in there, and wanted to kick it out, but he's 1 of 6 from the field. And as Melbourne United struggle to put points on the board, he's one that can explode, as can that man, Mitch McCarron.
Goes reverse and gets it up to 6 points, the advantage again. Perth have not been in front in this match, and as we said, Melbourne got out to as much as 15 points. Led by 13 at the first break. Perth, as we said, have made just 1 of 14 from outside tonight. Oh, he did all the hard work.
They did. Again, trying to get to the rim and draw some fouls. Looked like it squirted out of his hands, but they say it come off Trimble, so they keep possession of the ball.
Hello, had a different view of things. So this is a big game, as we've talked about, for Melbourne United, but there's plenty as this round 18 continues. And we're working our way towards the finals. These two dominant teams at the moment. We're seeing one of them in action tonight. And of course, the Sydney Kings also sitting pretty. They'll meet on Saturday night, but before that, the Breakers and the 36ers and the Taipans, who are such a great team to watch, take on the Illawarra Hawks.
Well, they are, and the Illawarra Hawks have been the Taipans' bogey team this season. They've already lost 3 times, and it is what it is, and you can't go back and change it, but you look at it and say, well, what if they had picked up those 3 wins, and you'd say there's a lot of games you look back and say if only, but they are 3 winnable games that they were in. Actually, 2 of them. 2 of those games they should have won against the Illawarra Hawks, and if they had picked up those, they'd been chasing not just a playoff spot, but top two.
Certainly would above expectations, to say the least, from the start of the season.
That's right, and the last time they lost to him, that's when Ball had the triple-double and put on a show, and it was so good that they put the cue in the rack, and unfortunately a few injuries, of course.
Time sort of earlier. First the other night with Plumlee, but not on this occasion.
Read today that Ball's gone home. Homicide.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone to rehab.
Look out.
Strong, athletic. Takes the hit and finishes with the left.
It is, and when you got a big man that can go off the bounce, and his size is a worry. But when you combine the size with the elite athleticism.
It's 4 for Barlow.
Barlow picks up his 4th.
He'll be a spectator for a little while. Plumlee at the line, as we've said. It's been a struggle for him.
3 for 3 tonight.
Not tonight. It's down to 3 points all of a sudden.
Little token pressure, little 1-2-2 half-court defense.
Chris Goulding not wasting any time in firing away there. Draws a big triple.
And that's the man. You do not want to give an inch. Mr. Simon right there.
14 points for Goulding. Kay can't return fire. Long. Again, he's had some opportunities he hasn't been able to make the most of from close to the basket. Couple of stops for Melbourne. Goulding from one side, Goulding from the other. But
Great hustle by Shawn Long.
oh, he's called for offensive.
This is an interesting lineup that the Wildcats have gone with both Britt and Swakala Bullock on at the same time. And here we have another look at it. Actually, when I first saw it, I thought it was a bit hard done by, but from that angle there,
That angle, it looked like a charge.
it did look like a charge. He held his ground and Long just pulled his way through him. And Taylor Britt showing some good courage and good IQ in the right place at the right time to take that charge.
Everybody could make that one too. For Melbourne, another opportunity to extend this lead. McCarron. LaCure puts the head down. Defended well by Wagstaff. Well, you just get the feeling as we get down into the stretch here, some of these Melbourne United big guns are really going to have to stand up, take on big leadership roles from here to get them home.
Oh, for sure.
100%. When you look at Shawn Long, his stat line right now is 1 for 7. Melo Trimble 1 for 6.
Thanks, guys.
They are absolutely an integral part of what they've been doing. And I thought Stanton Kidd was good in the minutes, somewhat limited minutes he's played so far. He's 2 of 2 from the field.
He's been on for 9 minutes so far. Extra pass from Goulding. And Long takes out a bit of his frustrations as he slams it down.
That was a beautiful pass.
It was.
Touch, bounce, pass.
When the screener's defense comes forward to help, that pass is always going to be on. It's a tough one, but got Goulding out there, such a threat.
Speaking of threats, out from outside. It's never going to make the coach happy.
CK, he came forward to help, and you're so reliant on the weak side. And it's hard because you got Goulding coming off that floppy action. It comes out, so you see him getting caught on that.
He's pumped the big man, Shawn Long there. Never a threat, Bryce Cotton.
16 points. 7 of 14 from the field. 3 of 5 from the stripe. And they are missing that man right there.
Yeah, Casey Prather, and you'd have to think it's unlikely that he's going to be back if Melbourne United do make the finals.
Star he was for Perth, of course, previously. 5 points now. It's still a delicate balance. And the crowd know it. They know what's on the line here tonight for Melbourne. And as we said, it's going to get tighter and tighter.
The way Nick Kay was playing Shawn Long, that was a bad angle for that high-low. He should have just got the ball from the wing. That angle looked like it was better.
been plenty from Shea Illy. Another lucky bounce for Kane. Brett. Baseline. And then out again.
Start with a little push in the back. It's now 1 of 16 from the three-point line.
Yeah, clearly, Perth Wildcats, you're not going to win this game by shooting from the land of plenty. Well, there ain't nothing there.
There hasn't been
not
so
plenty there tonight.
Not plenty there tonight.
It's frustrating for Trevor Gleeson because
the land of donuts tonight.
You don't want to kill the confidence of your guys from the three-point line, but you've got to keep encouraging them to say that, hey, we've got some issues from there. Keep attacking the rim. We've been rewarded by attacking the rim.
Oh, that makes me hungry, Carl. Shawn Long again is called offensively, and Nick Kay the hero to his teammates.
And that's just a mental error. You're right in front of the referee. You cannot barrel over the defender.
You're really trying to find his way, Shawn Long, through a lot of this season. As we mentioned at the top of this game, he's had some unbelievable statistic games, but
he's now got 3.
He's been 2 of 9, and just he thinks that his defense flopping, but
that's no flop.
That wasn't a flop that time. That was just dropping the shoulder and trying to run a guy over.
And a bit of sweat as well.
And there's a player that they're missing with. We're not sure of the exact details, but believe that there might be some gastro issues.
So you are sure?
I'm not sure exactly. Gastro encompasses quite a diverse illness category.
Yeah, that's true. Melbourne lead by 5, but the challenge continues here. Down to the last 2 minutes in this third quarter.
At the other end, that man there, Terrico White, grand final MVP. Now there's a man that can score a lot quickly. When he gets cooking, he is one of the tougher ones to stop. Great from the three-point line, crafty around the basket, and they miss him.
McCarron to double figures again. Rolls in a second from the line and cuts the margin to 3.
Gage, not to mention an incredible mid-range game.
That's it. Versatility.
As we've said a number of times, Melbourne have been in front right from the get-go.
Where has Stanton Kid been? He started off the game pretty good. We haven't seen a lot of him after.
I like his game. Very versatile.
Snidel. Kay. Up and
beautiful.
Rolls it in off the left.
Last hand.
Oh, back to 3.
Oh. This is also can be a tough because there's a collision and someone falls. Here you see a Chul. Didn't look like from the angle we had. Now he's just standing there. He's just long and Cotton trying to fight over. And looked like a Chul did a whole lot wrong on that screen.
Cotton. It's all go now for Perth. Would have expected him to make that. He's a bit frustrated. He pursues McCarron down the court. Melbourne trying to make the best use of this set. Illy. Kevin Trayton takes the 2 on offer. Good drive from Shea Illy.
Nice drive. That's the strength of Shea Illy. He can get to the basket and finish amongst the trees.
Old Perth Bay again, United. Been coming for a while.
Good hand by Kidd. He thought it came off Steindl. I don't think it did.
It wasn't obviously wrong somehow. No, I didn't see it hit him, though. I'll get off you. Here we go.
Steindl with the inbound. 40 seconds left in this third quarter. Right up against the shot clock. Does it in style. Kill and puts Melbourne back to a 7-point advantage. He was invited to shoot from outside, but he wanted to make it a whole lot better than that.
That's the versatility the big fella has. He can shoot outside, so there had to be some sort of a closeout. Took that mismatch off the dribble.
He's been missing all night, Clint Steindl. He's 0 from 7 tonight now. And so Melbourne, despite being under a lot of pressure in that third quarter, hold firm enough, and they will take a 7-point advantage in this must-win occasion, the open-air game. The start of Indigenous round in the NBL, and the home team hoping to put an end to a 3-game losing streak, keep their finals hopes alive, and beat by 7. That's a huge game for Melbourne United. They're on the brink of missing the finals. Last year's grand finalist. If they were to go down tonight to the Perth Wildcats, then well, it would be might be very difficult to see them getting into the finals action. But so far so good. Magnificent night in Melbourne. Temperature still in the early to mid-20s, and a 55-48 scoreline. Can they go on with it? That's the question.
Can someone get hot, Hutto? 1 of 17 for the Perth Wildcats, 5 of 14 for Melbourne United.
And Steindl not going to die wondering. He finally makes some points. And will that kickstart the Perth Wildcats?
Nice mid-range pull-up. Doesn't do well in this venue. But I feel he's going to have a big fourth quarter for them.
Doesn't do well against Melbourne United ever. He's never scored more than 5 points against them.
That's good commitment. Smith-Milner. Great spirit shown out there on the court.
The Perth Wildcats still, you think of Terrico White, but let's not forget about Damien Martin. What he can bring with his leadership and defense, that he can help through the times ahead. Experienced campaigner.
He'll be ready for finals.
And there'll be a few guys from the opposition teams hoping he's not ready. He's a hard man to score against, as we know. Kill gets 2 goes at it.
That's looked good down low. Steindl, he's got that size and length at both times. A couple of times now, it looks like he's got an advantage against Steindl down low. Pass.
Norton, but that's where it ends for Perth. McCarron with the eyes up, went behind the back. An unnecessary luxury, you'd think, at this stage, to go with a bit of fancy stuff.
Well, I don't think he was trying to be fancy. It's just where the defense was. He saw the opportunity for a transition basket, so just whipped it around his back and almost got it there. It just wasn't enough force. Good hustle by Kay to break up that play.
Real good defense. Defensive help by Luala Cool. Getting it done at both ends. With his length and skill set, he can play on the post or on the perimeter. So he's giving them a tough matchup.
Absolutely. He's been solid.
They're just going to go at Steindl. Whoever Steindl's guarding, they're going to go at.
Thanks for putting me back in the box too, Andrew. As that one's put down for 2.
No, there's no putting back in the box. It's just that sometimes it might look like something's happening when it's not.
All good. It's out to 9 now. The back of 2 points for Kidd. Cotton looks to respond. He can't get the range either. So just edging back out to a significant advantage here, Melbourne United. Kidd bringing some energy to this Melbourne combination.
That's the mismatch right there.
So is this guy.
Too tall.
Throws it down for 2 more. Yeah. And they are fired up right now.
The help has to come. Joe Luala-Cool, there's nobody on that team that can guard him. And if Nick Kay goes to him, give the ball to Stanton Kidd. There's a mismatch with those 2 guys on the court.
Well, certainly there's, and saw Wagstaff hint of a flop there, so he might have got a flop warning as well.
All right, let's hear from the NBL boss, Jeremy Lowliger, and he is with Jenny.
Jeremy, this round is our inaugural Indigenous round for the NBL this season. What is this initiative about and how important is it?
It's incredibly important. We were, I guess, led by the Illawarra Hawks when they introduced a fantastic Indigenous game last year. It was really well received, and I thought it was a fantastic way to mark the contribution of Indigenous communities, both here in Australia and in New Zealand, importantly, to the game of basketball and the NBL. It's a pleasure to be able to mark that contribution by recognising both cultural elements of Indigenous communities in both countries, and then also by contributing financially back into Indigenous basketball programs. So all of the proceeds tonight from the Indigenous uniforms and throughout the round will go towards Indigenous basketball programs, which we're very excited by.
It's just fabulous, and there are some amazing designs with some great storytelling behind them. Do you have a favourite of your own?
I love the Brisbane uniform. I don't know why. I don't yet know the story behind the Brisbane uniform. I'm looking forward to finding out when I watch them take on Melbourne later this weekend. But it's beautiful, it's colourful. I love the fact that each of the artists are from the local communities of each of the clubs, and I think they look superb.
Thank you, Jen. As we said, it's a fantastic addition to this year's NBL season. Well, starting tonight here at Melbourne Arena. Perth have got lots of work to do. Plumlee gets his opportunity, and he gets a friendly roll.
Well, sometimes your best defence is your offence, and Achul's been going to work and they've been targeting Achul on the offensive end. That time, they check out Achul's defence, and certainly in the wrong weight division when it comes to his matching up with Plumlee.
Casual fade away from Kidd. Connect. Hard to the basket
Beautiful
goes Kay.
finish by Kay.
All of a sudden, it's back to 7 again. And the peril very much remains for Melbourne United. As you'd expect against such an incredible club and an outstanding team. Casually for a moment, I thought he was going to take the shot and throws the pass in.
To Corey's point before, they had the mismatch down low. In fact, that's going to be there because of the personnel that's on the floor. There's going to be that size mismatch, and unfortunately, just poor angle on that pass to get it to Kidd. He had Norton on him, had a good size advantage, but just poor execution.
Just keep your dribble alive on the wing. Take 2 dribbles more to your right and dump the ball in the post.
Chases on to stop Bryce Cotton. He gets good help. He gets great help. Kay drains the 3. And all of a sudden, it's back to 4 points. And Dean Vickerman and Melbourne United know what that means. It's on, Andrew, it's on.
It certainly is game on, Hutto, now. And you could see the frustrations in Dean Vickerman. He had a nice 11-point advantage prior to that last time out. 3 straight possessions, 3 scores, and it's back within striking distance for the Wildcats.
Nick Kay, Mr. Reliable.
Yeah, well,
18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 for 14, 50% from the field.
Let's get back to Jen with a special guest.
Hi, I'm here with all-star AFL player, recently signed with the Collingwood Football Club again, Brodie Grundy. Nice to see you courtside enjoying the open air tonight.
Yeah, it's fantastic. As you said, courtside, it's a lot different environment to sitting in an AFL game. It's buzzing, it's loud.
I know you played basketball in your junior days. You see how big these guys are out here. I know you're a man mountain yourself. Are you glad you chose footy?
Yeah, I think I'd probably be on the perimeter out here. So, yeah, the guys are huge.
Well, we've got to get back to the action. Thank you very much for joining us courtside.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hutto, for a recently signed $7 million, I think he's quite happy with his decision to stay with football.
Yes, good call, Andrew.
No, he's a superstar of the competition, though. He's very, very good, very versatile.
So 4 points in this one. As Andrew said, in a heartbeat, it's back to being a tight competition again. Trimble can't get it right. Hard into the paint. Cotton, just to make it worse for Trimble, draws a foul.
well, real simple action. And normally you'd say, well, that would be a good call coming out of a timeout with Trimble getting downhill and just open the floor up and get to the rim. But 1 of 7.
17.
Clearly Trimble thinking about it and doesn't look all that happy at the moment.
Nor did Dean Vickerman when he missed that layup.
Plumlee assesses. Which way's the call going? Against. It's his 4th foul.
Always tough. We've seen a couple of offensive fouls down the other end. Here we see Plumlee.
So these two guys pointing at each other to comment here. Who wants to go first?
It's always a tough call, and it was adjudicated that he got in the right spot and
David, you can't run here, mate.
running over.
Don't go over.
So it remains a 4-point ball game. The last 6 minutes are ahead of us. Illy, quick drawing, Chris Goulding. Plumlee stays out there despite the 4 fouls. They're rolling the dice. Cotton rolls in 2. And she tightens up just a little more.
Here come the Wildcats. Money time.
And when it's money time, most of the time it's Bryce Cotton, and that was a tough shot, off balance, kind of a push shot from that mid-range, but nothing but Cotton.
McCarron back out to the top. He had time to get set, and it goes down. Oh, what a time for that from Big Joe, and that is his career high.
He's been incredibly important in this one with Trimble and Long not getting it done on the offensive end. They needed someone to step up, and Achul has answered the call.
Works his way, gets help from Plumlee. Very misaligned there on that shot.
Walla cool. Double-double. 15 points, 10 rebounds. Make that 11.
And McCarron, just what Melbourne needed, just the tonic right now. Back to 7 points. They've been able to withstand a couple of big challenges from Perth. There's still one at least coming from Bryce Cotton. Not to be this time.
The swipe from behind, Cotton picks up a foul, and there's Achul. And sometimes when things aren't going right, you need a little bit of luck, and a couple of rattles of the ring, and he knocks it down. And he brings back Long. This is a little surprising, given the effect that Long has had, as opposed to Achul, who's been a really important piece to Melbourne United.
McCarron on the left. Oh, throws it up and throws it down.
Great penetration and pass. He knew getting to the basket, the rim protection ability of Plumlee. Just have him attempt to block his shot. Great pass.
7-point run. Great to see Shawn Long back out on the court, Andrew, having an immediate effect.
Immediate effect. And a great little 2-on-2 game come across, and there you see great awareness, and Plumlee out of the action. He had to help. McCarron's going straight to the basket, and great recognition and a nice pass, a little chin up. And Long just expressing himself on that dunk.
David Barlow has a seat as he fouled out.
He came into this last quarter with 4 fouls. So his night is over. But Melbourne have a very handy lead with just under 4 minutes remaining.
It's a huge lead in a low-scoring affair where points have been hard to come by.
First lowest score of the year, as we said in the last matchup against Melbourne. 74 points. Nick Kay, back-to-back 20-point games for him for the first time this season. So He's done his bit, but there's still more to do. And Perth are a chance in this one. Plenty more to do, but you just feel like Melbourne have got the resolve. They've shown
for sure
mental strength so far.
Yeah, absolutely, Hutto. And the fact that the Wildcats are only 2 of 18 from the three-point line really takes away an important part of their offensive action when they're being so poor from the three-point line.
McCarron gets roughed up.
And the Wildcats now are penalty. There's 2 shots from here on out for Melbourne United.
So stands at 7 right now. 2. So if they can go on and turn this into a win, is it the sort of win that
absolutely generates some momentum, gives them some belief. Scrapping win, low-scoring affair, and they can come away with one, but they need to do a better job defensively if they're going to secure this win.
Yeah, they're certainly not there yet.
Straight line drive from the top of the key to Mitch Norton.
Let's see, Dean Vickerman get him a little bit animated. He certainly won't feel like it's job done yet. Plumlee comes in a rush. Norton ran into plenty of opposition. Nearly fights the good fight for Melbourne.
That's just bad offense by the Wildcats right there.
I'll tell you what else is at stake with this one if Melbourne can win as we have a look at the replay. It'll lock up top place for the Sydney Kings as well. And they'll have home court right throughout the playoffs. Great hustle.
Something they well and truly deserve, Andrew, given their season.
My word, incredible season. Had to deal with a bit of adversity throughout the course of the season as well. It's not like it's come all that easily for them. And I know they've got enormous talent, but coordinating that, dealing with some of the injuries that they've had to face.
Well set up over the last few years.
Extraordinary well positioned.
As they kick it around, Samoa United. Happy for the seconds to wind away here a little, but still try and get a good shot.
Off the leg.
Great hands by Nick Kay.
2:42. 7 points. They're the key numbers right now. There's Bryce Cotton. There he is. Rolling around the perimeter. Kay doesn't take the shot. Steindl does.
Oh, goodness. Way off the mark. Beautiful finish.
Return to some form tonight, Mitch McCarron.
Loving the way he's executing off that pick and roll. Kept the hesitation. Plumlee did not commit, so he had a nice, easy finger roll.
It's back to 9 points. There's an early whistle there.
Looks like it could be on Plumlee. Oh, he's 5th. Just trying to create more space.
So it's,
there it is, off the ball.
Good night to Miles.
Runs into Chris Goulding, and that's his 5th.
No smiles from Miles.
Always takes a little bit of adjusting, and perhaps still coming to terms with the officiating.
Especially for the big guys coming here.
Yeah, knowing how physical they can be. And it looks like there was a technical foul to boot.
Technical foul. So
and that's given them the chance to play the whole song pretty much.
Just
to wrap it in.
And it was Perth bench, so Trevor Gleeson not happy with the decision. Goulding goes up and knocks it down. Might have been Plumlee who, because he'd already had his 5th, walks off, and when you get a technical foul when you're off, technically it goes onto the bench. He because he had already committed his 5th foul.
Melbourne's to lose from here. They're 10 up. Gilly. That's going to be a Perth ball.
Nice little move by Illy, but at this stage of the game with a 10-point lead, the clock's your friend. Take some time off the clock, but you can get that move and that play any time in your offensive set.
A rush for Perth. That's not happening for them. As we said, they're on their way here to their lowest score of the season. 74 in Perth last time against Melbourne, and they're well short of that at the moment.
Goulding's numbers, he's got the 15 points, he's 4 of 11 from the field, a perfect 4 of 4 from the 3-point line, only 3 of 10 from, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 3 of 10 from the 3-point line. You look at those numbers and you say for his standards fairly modest, but I think he's had a very good game in the context of this one.
And there were some important baskets he made early for them when no one was shooting threes. He was able to connect on a couple at least.
Correct, and I think that he stood up, showed real good leadership, and in a low-scoring game, it's been a constant threat out on the floor. Another one is McCarron. He's 12 points, 5 of 6 from the floor. Outstanding.
Cool stepped up as well. Big game. And Stanton Kidd.
Yeah, little cameo by Stanton Kidd.
Perth from here Saturday at home to Sydney, and that'll be a great warm-up for the playoffs. The finals Sunday in round 19. They'll be at home to Brisbane, and then they'll finish with another home game against Adelaide. Still need one win just to absolutely lock away that 34th consecutive finals win. Achievement. Cotton. Tough going for him. Carried a big load tonight. Melbourne can breathe a little. Enjoying a 12-point lead. 2-2 in the series for the year against the Wildcats. Gilly drops in another 2 points from inside the key. Andrew?
Oh, well, you mentioned that the Wildcats do need one more, but their last 3 are all at home. So unlikely they're going to drop 3 in a row at home to put, even if they did do that, they still could possibly sneak in.
Yeah.
So it's, you're right, mathematically it's not locked in, but it's the closest thing to being locked in you'd want to have in a season.
Bryce Cotton. Steindl makes it as tough as possible. Got one to go from an unlikely position earlier in the game. Not so that time. Cotton, full charge. Enjoys the 2.
A huge win today by Melbourne United. This season is still alive.
Yep, and it was...
Wasn't pretty. It
wasn't a pretty one, and the shooting percentages, they only had 41% from the field, weren't great. But holding the Perth Wildcats to 3 of 20 from the 3-point line has been huge.
And 66 points.
And Nick Kay was the only one to knock down those 3. The rest of the team, naught from 13.
See, that wouldn't happen too often, would it? Only one player.
Particularly when you've got Bryce Cotton on your team, you reckon he's probably going to drop 1 or 2, and he takes a spell. He battled hard. 21 points for Bryce Cotton.
4 United players successfully putting up a triple. Down to the last.
You know, every night's just not your night.
No, it's not. And they go home for a home stretch that fine-tune themselves for the playoffs.
Hopefully.
I tell you, it's not an easy run, though. When you talk about their home games, Hutto, you've got me just perusing it here. And they got Saturday, they play the Kings. Then in round 19, they got the Bullets. And then potentially a tricky one against the Adelaide 36ers, who had a big win in Perth earlier on in the season. So, yeah, they want to who knows? You never know, Hutto.
Never know.
The last seconds of this one. And Melbourne United remember how to win. Their season is